Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Thursday, June the 10th, and Jackson and I are going to do the one cast for you today. So, we boated up here to the dam. It's about 7:30 in the evening. Starting to cool off. Had a super hot day again today. Got into the mid-90s. They ran one generator last night starting at midnight up until 6 a.m. this morning, and then they've been running 2 units since then, so about 2 units all day, which I talked to Dwayne this morning. He said the fish were a little grumpy for the morning trip after having slower flows all yesterday and last night, and then getting bumped up to 2 units this morning. But they said the scud bite was good. Today, I am going to throw a Signature Series 762 model, and that is in the Sculpin flavor. This jerkbait for the last week, this Sculpin pattern, has been doing really well in the mornings and in the evenings. In the 762 model and in the 606, which dives at 5 foot, and this one goes to 3 foot. It looks to me like they're dropping the water just a touch here. They might be slowing it down. The schedule says they're supposed to run it. Sorry, Jackson. The schedule says they're supposed to run the water till midnight tonight, at least that's what the schedule said, but it does seem like they are dropping that water out now. And we are starting right in front of outlet 3 today. It's still, their sun was still a little bit up on that bank on the south side by the cable, and so I wanted to come somewhere where there's a little bit of shade cover. So we're going to start by outlet 3, and we're going to work the north bank all the way down today. I've been having some success with the jerk baits here. Nothing officially on the first cast. I talked to Captain Steve Dickey on my way up. They were floating size 14 and size 16 scuds underneath indicators down below Lookout Island. He said they were doing really well, and they just caught a 20-inch rainbow. Talked to Roland Duffield for a second, and they were using scuds under the indicator on a fly rod. He said they were catching fish. They were drifting the shallow side by the golf course when I went by him. And last night, because the water flows were good, me and my buddy Charlie decided to take a night fishing excursion up here on the boat. We were we started off before the sun went down with this 762 Sculpin and a 762 French Pearl. And the bite was fairly good before it got dark, kind of the last 30 minutes before it got dark. But once it did get dark, we switched over to the 762 Plum Stupid, and the bite was absolutely incredible. We had probably 15 double ups where we both reeled in one at the same time. 4 rainbows over 20 inches last night, and just a ton of super healthy fish. Not very many of them were under 17 inches. So lots of fun, and I can say that the summertime night bite might have officially started. You do not have to be up on a boat to do that. You can come out here, and I do it all the time too, and wade the banks and throw these jerk baits out and slow retrieve them back. And you can have a blast here at nighttime. It's also a lot cooler in the nighttime. No 90-degree sun. But the bite wasn't very good last night. This pattern, the sculpin pattern, is painted after a fish that lives here in Taneycomo, the banded sculpin. They're pretty prevalent, and they are one of the trout's food sources here. Just kind of like using a scud. Well, the scuds live here year-round, and it's always a good bet. Well, the sculpin fish live here too, and especially your bigger trout are seeking those out, and they live in the rocks on the bottom, or in the rocks on the bank, or in any kind of structure, and they kind of dart around. So I'm just trying my best to imitate that. Try to get it in real close to the bank where they live. And with this jerk bait, it doesn't dive very deep, number one, and it also doesn't have a very big bill on it. So unlike the 110+1 where you have to give it a lot of line popping, this one you just kind of twitch 3 to 5 to 6 times and then give it a little 1 or 2 second pause. These jerk baits are a way to target the bigger fish here. A lot of the time it's not a numbers game. Unless you're talking about nighttime, then it can be, the jerk bait can definitely produce the numbers as well. But a lot of the time the jerk bait's not a numbers game, it's a quality of fish game. There's one. Oh, he's a fighter, he's flying. 3 jumps in a row, 4 jumps. Can we see 5? I always carry around a pair of pliers with me whenever you're doing this. It's the best way to protect you and the fish. Getting that jerk bait out of their mouth. He is not happy about it. I'm gonna go ahead and just use the net here. A lot of the time I'll just hang them over the side of the boat and undo the jerk bait, primarily because that jerk bait likes to get caught up in the net quite a bit. This one, he's not a very big guy, but he was super aggressive, and he has a big old pot belly on him. Just look at that belly. Alright, now for the fun part, getting your jerk bait back out of the net. Whenever you catch a fish on a jerk bait, I like to straighten everything out here and then check the line right above the knot for frays. A lot of the time when they're twisting and jerking around, they'll get the treble hooks caught around the line, and that's a real easy way to lose your next fish and jerk bait at the same time. But anyway, with this model, with the 762 model, which we carry this in the Signature series, and the company that makes the bait has their own versions that they either paint or foil wrap that are a little bit cheaper up in the shop. We also have the 606, but either one of those models, it's not a big jerking motion. The baits have a tighter wobble, and all you have to do is just give it a nice sporadic twitching motion with occasional 1 to 2 second pauses. And that's going to be the same for any model of jerkbait really out here. That's kind of the action the trout are looking for, especially the rainbow trout. They like that 1 or 2 second pause. You'll find that they hit it a lot once you pause it. Now the brown trout, a little different. They like to attack the bait while it's moving. So if you're specifically trying to target a brown trout, I suggest you just keep your twitching action going with minimal pauses. And the other goal behind using a jerkbait out here is you kind of want it to be suspending. If the bait floats up fast or sinks fast, then in the pause it's not going to be effective. They're going to see it float or sink, and they're going to immediately swim away from that bait. I got another one on here. Another very aggressive little guy. He is a feisty one. There we go. He's also got a big old belly. I love these rubber nets. They're way better than trying to use a cloth net, but it almost seems that every time I net a fish, that one little piece of cloth that holds the rubber together is where that hook goes. And I've been just kind of hitting spot lock every time I catch a fish. That way I don't lose ground here on this bank. Oh, there's another one. Man, they're super aggressive when they hit those jerk baits. Another thing you can do that sometimes increases the jerkbait bite during the day is you can slow your boat down and cast out towards the bank, but kind of at a little bit of a downwards angle downstream. And if your boat's going slower than the current, it'll cause that bait to kind of swing a little bit as you're moving it. And sometimes that swinging motion really gets their attention. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes I can just drift straight down the bank at the same speed of the current. But if I'm having trouble picking up bites there, I'll slow the boat down occasionally and get a little bit of a swing. And you can do that with anything, jerkbaits, jigs, any kind of lure that you're casting out. You can use that swinging approach, because sometimes that's what the trout really like. Oh, there's another big hit. You missed that. Sometimes if you can keep yourself from doing it, and it's hard not to pause and hope that they hit it again, but if you feel a hit and they don't connect with it, if you give it a couple quick twitches, sometimes they'll come right back for it again. But it's kind of almost natural instinct to stop whenever they hit it. I say if you want to catch the most fish on a jerkbait here, definitely put those 1 or 2 second pauses in there. And the same rule applies for these as any other jerkbait. Whenever you cast it at the bank, try to get as close as you can. Okay, those bigger fish that are laying right underneath that ledge are going to be, more apt to come out and grab it. And then try to get a few 5 to 7 initial pops as soon as it hits the water near the bank. Because if there is a big fish laying there and you can get that sporadic motion right in their face, a lot of the time they'll just bite it out of reaction. Oh, there was another one. I saw him flash for it. I'm using 6-pound monofilament line. This is the, I'm not going to remember the name of it right now. It is not the Trilene XL. It is the other brand we carry in the shop, the Maxima 6-pound monofilament. And I just started using it a couple weeks ago. So far I like it. It seems to hold up really well. I'd say this flavor is probably one of my go-tos, that or the Juvenile Rainbow signature series on any given day. Then if it's really cloudy or rainy, or if we've seen shad, I'll use the French Pearl or the Ghost Shad. If it's a really bright, clear day, use the Ghost Shad. And like I said, we carry all kinds of varieties of colors in it as well in the shop, that you should be able to find the colors you need to kind of match what's going on. Oop, there's a hit. Oh, he missed it. Well, they are definitely biting this good again today. The other evening, not last night, but the other evening, Sunday evening when I was out doing this, we drifted down, throwing this bait here, all the way down to Lookout Island, fishing the same side, and they were biting it all the way down the big island too. So I imagine if we had taken it over the shallow side of the golf course flat, that would have been another good spot. We just didn't make it down to fish that far. One of my rules of thumb out here is the faster the water's going, the least amount or the more spaced out twitches I can use. And the slower the water's going, the more sporadic and the faster you have to work the bait. If it's going too slow when the water's running really slow, they'll kind of realize it's not for them and swim away. So if the water's moving slower, you gotta speed it up, give it more sporadic action, and if the water's moving faster, you can get away with not popping it quite as fast because that current helps push it and move it. And you don't necessarily have to work it back to the boat all the way. A lot of the time that first like 30 feet from the bank is the kind of the prime zone. And so, I mean, I've certainly caught fish working it all the way back to the boat before, but a lot of the time that bite comes in the first 30 feet. So if you're really trying to get after it, I would recommend just working that first 30 feet or so and then reeling it back in and casting and getting close to the bank as much as possible. We are coming up on the boat ramp up here below the dam. For some reason, this area in here, just I guess something about the topography of it, seems to attract brown trout. I've, over my time living here, noticed that I've caught a lot of brown trout in this area. Ow. And you gotta watch that. Sometimes that bait likes to get wrapped up if you give it just too hard of a twitch or something there. There you go. Well, we are coming up on Trophy Run here, and I think that's where I'm going to end the video today. But fairly good jerkbait bite, and oh, I see all fish swiping for it. Fairly good jerkbait bite this evening, and get out there and try your hand at that night bite. Just come up to the dam and wade in. It is a lot of fun. But I'll go just a second longer here. Coming up right on this corner where the island starts, and sometimes there's be a lot of fish loaded up in this spot here. All right, last cast. But we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and we will get out here and do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.